Hello, 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 and welcome to Walk, Talk, Health. As the name suggests, you and I are going to walk an amazing trail and we're going to talk health. Each of these walks covers a specific topic that can have significant benefits to your health. But if you combine the topics we talk about over a series of these walks, they can have huge benefits to your health, well-being, longevity, and all add up to helping you live longer, healthier. Okay, are you ready? Let's go enjoy the walk. Where are we today? Well, we're in Watford and we're about to walk the Grand Union Canal. This amazing waterway was built in the late 1700s, early 1800s. It spans 137 miles from Birmingham in the north all the way down to London in the south. Can you imagine hand digging out this entire canal and shoring it up to make sure the water didn't escape? And then in addition to that, because of the slope of the topography, they had to build these enormous lock systems so that boats could actually make their way up and down the river. And later on we'll show you one of those in action and you'll just see just how amazing they are. Today we're going to be talking about the microbiome. Let's start with what is it and why do we care about it? There are up to 2,000 species of bacteria, fungi and viruses living on us, in our nasal passages, in our throats, in our lungs, in our digestive system. Some are friendly, beneficial, and some are clearly not. The trick is to encourage the good ones to grow and to thrive and to discourage the bad ones. So why do we care? Well, let's put it this way. If I had a magic wand and I could make every bacteria, virus and fungus within my body disappear, I would shortly die. Because we rely on them for so many of our body's functions and some of the important chemicals that they produce. So it's a beautiful day here on the Grand Union Canal. Coming up, you can see what they call narrow boats. As the name suggests, they're narrow, long and narrow. People live on these. The microbiome is essential for life and for health. We get it originally from our mother through the placenta and then mother's milk. As we go through life, the people that we come into contact with, the foods that we eat, all affect it and change that all-important balance between good, healthy bacteria and those ones that cause us harm. The good, friendly bacteria, in fact, if we treat them right, we feed them right, will actually take care of the bad bacteria, keep the numbers down, even release chemicals to kill those bad bacteria. So what does the microbiome look like within our body? Well, as I said earlier, it's actually in our nasal passages where it helps produce things like nitric oxide. It's in our mouth, helping to start breaking down food as soon as we start to consume it. It's mainly in our stomach where it does the real work for us in terms of getting the nutrients that our body needs. Our stomach starts the process with the acid that's in it, but the real work's done by those healthy microbes in our intestines. Our intestines are actually 20 feet in length, starting with the small intestine, ending with the large intestine and the colon. The good bacteria mainly live in the small intestine, that first roughly 15 feet, and they take up residence there and in a mucus layer. Now, that mucus layer in its own right is very important in terms of protecting our health. Our body produces it again with the help of friendly bacteria. They produce things like short chain fatty acids, when they're breaking down our food, and that encourages our body to produce the mucus layer. So why is that important? Obviously our stomach is full of pretty acidic chemicals to start that early on breakdown of foods, which can damage the intestines, which are only one layer thick. Those particular cells in the intestines, they're very specialist, they're tightly packed to make sure that nothing gets through into the blood that shouldn't. But what we don't want to do is damage those cells by things like acid. If we don't feed our good bacteria the right kind of foods, what they start to do then is actually consume that mucus layer, and then that's when things go terribly wrong. If we eat things like nuts, for example, people think peanuts are nuts, they're not, they're legumes. Quite a few foods we eat, for example, contain things called lectins. Lectins are tiny little microbes, very sharp, that as they pass through the intestines can cause micro tears in the one cell thick layer, which in turn can allow toxins, bad bacteria, bad viruses, bad fungus through into the blood. In fact, the reason that most people carry weight around their stomach, fat layer around their stomach, is that 63% approximately of the immune system lives in and around the gut. The reason that the fat layer is there is because those white blood cells, the defense mechanism of our body, have to be fed, and therefore the fat is there to feed those defense mechanisms. With no mucus layer or a thin mucus layer, because it's been consumed by healthy bacteria, it makes it far easier for our intestines to be torn, cut by things like the lectins and other foods that pass through our body. I thought I'd stop for a minute and take a look at one of these locks. With a bit of luck, a boat or two will come along in a minute and we can do some filming to see exactly how these things operate. So by contrary, the unhealthy bacteria and ecosystem produce all kinds of chemicals that are toxic to the body, causing inflammation and even illness and disease. The reason that we want to cut down on things like sugars, carbohydrates, which includes pasta and bread, is that the bad bacteria, for want of a better description, that's what they like to survive on and live on. So the last thing we want is for some of those toxins produced by the bad bacteria to get into the micro tears in our intestines because we haven't taken care of them properly. The cottage behind me, that's where the people that operate the locks used to live. I don't think they still do, but that's what they were originally built for, so that they could come out and assist the cargo that was being moved from Birmingham to London or London to Birmingham on their journey. So even though we have the majority of our immune system living in and around the gut to fight off anything that gets across into the blood or tries to get into the body that shouldn't be there, the other reason that we don't want any tears and damage done to our intestine is that we have something called a vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is actually one of the largest organs in the body. It actually goes from the brain, it touches every single major organ in the body and pretty much surrounds the stomach and intestines. Lots of little nerve endings going all over. If anything gets through the gut lining that shouldn't do, it can travel up the vagus nerve to places like the heart and the brain, and it can cause inflammation. In fact, the latest medical thinking is that things like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, etc. are in effect inflammation of the brain. It's becoming clear that looking after our microbiome and encouraging the good, friendly species to thrive is vitally important for our health and longevity. If we have the right nutrients, the right chemicals being produced in our ecosystem, it means our body can function the way it's meant to. It can repair itself, which the body is designed to do. The human body is amazing. There's pretty much nothing it can't heal from, providing it gets the right nutrients and the right support from us. And that all starts in the microbiome. Oh cool, here comes a longboat. So problems and diseases that can be caused if the microbiome's out of balance are things like irritable bowel, Crohn's disease, heart disease, the inflammatory brain diseases I mentioned earlier. And these are all pretty serious and life-threatening. So it is crucial that we look after our microbiome and eat the correct foods. So how do we look after our microbiome? Clearly it starts with the foods we eat. So we need to eat very fibrous vegetables, green salads, fruits, particularly things like apples, resistant starches and things like bananas, which are actually also very good from a potassium point of view. Our nerve system needs both sodium and potassium to function properly, and not many foods have potassium in them. A common theme of these walk and talks is good sleep, exercise, including this amazing walk we're doing today. There is a brain-gut connection, and the chemicals released by the bacteria in our digestive system can literally make the difference between good mood, bad mood, inflammation, no inflammation. The chemicals communicating with the brain tells the brain and the immune system how to respond. This channel is in no way monetized. Its sole objective is to reach as many people as I possibly can to help them on their health journey, to help them live longer, healthier. By you hitting the like, subscribe and commenting and sharing, if you can take the time and trouble to do that, that would be amazing. It will definitely reach more people and help me achieve that goal. Okay, so let's recap what we've learned on this walk and talk. The first thing, and probably the most crucial thing, is that we literally cannot live without a healthy microbiome. We know that the good, healthy, friendly bacteria help produce key chemicals that support health, and the bad bacteria cause things like illnesses and inflammation. And our job is to feed the good bacteria so that they can inhabit the majority of our ecosystem and take care of our health. We know that the latest medical research tells us that having a bad microbiome is now responsible for gut issues, brain issues, heart issues, pretty much all the major illnesses that affect us and can cause a shortened life and sickness. We've learned that taking care of our microbiome includes eating foods rich in fibre. We've learned that we need to reduce our stress, get good sleep, exercise. Food is medicine. So what we eat and put into our bodies is crucial in terms of our general health, well-being and longevity. Please join me next time where we're going to discuss breathing techniques and the importance of oxygenation and how that affects the microbiome, how it affects nitric oxide production. We're going to discuss sleep, how to get good sleep, why sleep is important, and why sleep in its own right can hugely support the microbiome and the processes within the body that create good health and well-being, and how generally they help us live longer, healthier. I hope you found today's walk and talk beneficial. If you want to find out more about the microbiome from an amazing health professional, I would suggest you check out this video here. If you want to know about nitric oxide, which we discussed in the last walk and talk, which very much is involved in supporting the microbiome, then please check out my video here.